Hello Leo, welcome back to Path of Enlightenment Tarot. For those of you returning to the channel, welcome back, and those of you that are new, welcome. I'm Nicole. Leo, this is, I guess, welcome to spooky season, right? This is going to be your October 2025 read. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and North Node placements. I hope you're doing well. I don't know, I don't know, fire and air signs for some reason seem to be looming in the ethers pretty heavily. So here we are, Leo, getting yours out a bit sooner. Your last one didn't come out all that long ago either, so we're gonna roll with it. Thank you to everybody who's liked, shared, subscribed, commented, booked personal reads, made donations to the channel, has joined me for the live feed last week. I appreciate every single one of you, and thank you for all the ways that you support the channel. I couldn't do it without you, so thank you for being here. Leo, with that being said, let's just get into your read. Really didn't work on getting too many messages prior to sitting down here, taking a slightly different approach. Always at the mercy of Spirit's guidance, right? So with that, let's see here. So Spirit, for the star sign of Leo in the month of October, certainty, destiny. Ooh, Leo, the fates. The fates. There's something, I got the chills. Interesting. I don't know how to explain this to you yet, Leo. Your higher self is very involved. This could be a very spiritual, Spirit saying connection, a very spiritual time. Is, you know, we talk about the veil thinning closer to Halloween or Samhain, whichever you follow, believe, do, whatever. Man, it's kind of like the veil is so thin in some part of life for you that, you're going to have to be really flexible about something. Most definitely. You're going to have to be flexible in something. And, you know, dice, gamble, taking a chance on something, needing to lean into it. Leo, you're a fixed sign, right? You're a fixed sign. And fixed signs, you, Scorpio, Taurus, and Aquarius, you get in your Spirit, you can get in your own way sometimes, right? You can get in your own way, or the way of things progressing that you need to be flexible with. But with this, it's like, I feel like for a long time you felt like nothing would change. Nothing would be different. Everything would always be the same. Schedules, day-to-day activities, a way of doing, a way of working, a way of living. Maybe even a way of loving. You know, it's like you've dedicated yourself to a specific routine. It's changing. It's changing. And you can have a lot of information, I don't want to say thrown at you, but it's like in little subtext. There's more. It's like you think about like when you're in high school and you're studying and you have to write the notes out, and it's like, you know, this part of the lesson was, I don't know, plants and medicine. And under, you know, so there's part one, and then subcategory, subcontext to that is, let's break this down to one, and plants themselves, and then it's A again, and what about the plants? You know, it's like everything is being broken down into, it's not just labeled as it once was. There's a lot more to it. And I do think that in time, that veil lifting is you seeing more to something. It's not the status quo anymore. And it's not even that it's not simple, but there's just more to it. There's something more to something going on in your reality than you realized, or you didn't. You've seen it like on an individual level, but now there's just more. There's more to it, right? As we say, the meat and potatoes of it all. Like, what else is there? So I don't know. Opals could be significant, and opal is, you know, because we're in Libra season right now. I don't know what Libra's birthstone is, and not the Hallmark ones, right? Is it garnet maybe? But opal is that a Scorpio. So Scorpio season starts in mid to late October, right? The 22nd. Crystal ball, clarity. Leo, I'm telling you. there's like something about a reality. It could send some shockwaves into you somehow. It actually feels good. I will say it feels good to me. It doesn't feel like it's anything bad. But it's very powerful. There's a powerful energy around you here in the month of October. I got the chills again. Like I don't know, Leo. Like I feel it, right? I just feel it. Nature. You know, when I look at the lines on this tree, these lines always draw me into them. And again, it's like the status quo. This was done this way, check. This was done that way, check. This was, you know, it's like a checklist almost. But there's a separation of, I'm hearing organization as well. That to me is talking about a structure of sorts where maybe, I don't know, if we're talking business as an example, you have the company and you've got 3 departments, and that 3rd department maybe has become over inundated with certain things. So now we're going to make a subsection of that, right? Like we're going to create another division, but not quite a full-size division as the other 3 have been. But there's something about thank you, Spirit, something branching off. It's required. And I do have like this 4 parts kind of thing to this. So Leo, I could also say to you, right, again, as like part of the world or the Wheel of Fortune cards in the tarot, you've got Taurus, Scorpio, you, and Aquarius. Again, so 4 parts to something here that is now going off on its own or needing to do something differently or be on its own somehow. Don't quite know, but there's somebody, something here, Leo, whether this is you or someone you're connected to, that it's happening organically. It's happening. It's like written in the stars. It's fated. It's destined. It's time for change. And some of you are likely to take this change and go, well, this is really cool. And others of you are going to be like, well, I've never seen it like that. It's always been this way. Why would it change now? Fate might surprise you, right? Fate might surprise you. Interesting, Leo. Very, very interesting. Spirit, get an Akashic card. All right, let's roll with that. And then we'll get 3 cards out for the past, the present, and the future. Pardon me, I got an itch. All right, let's see here. For Leo in the month of October. Somebody might own a crystal ball, by the way. Could divinate. You could be, you may divinate as well. Guardian of the heart and awakening. Could be, you could divinate. Crystal could be important too. There's something about you could say gemstones, crystals in themselves, but there's something about the raw material of it as well. The raw material of something. It's mentioning opal. Oh my God, I can't talk. Opal, garnet, now crystal itself. Be getting out the fine china, the crystal, maybe glasses or something. For Leo. Messengers of seeds. I told you there is some type of new idea arriving. There's something happening here. Diverging roads. Somebody is having to make a choice in October around the same old patterns. As I said, right, these cards come out, or making a new choice that requires growth. And it says you are facing a choice between growth and comfort. True evolution demands courage to leave the familiar behind. Again, that not likely to change. Choose the path that scares you a little. Again, that there in itself is, some of you will embrace this. Others of you are going to second guess it and go, we never did it this way before. Why would we change it now? Coordinates could be important. The state of Oregon could be important. The word clover, I don't know why that's coming in. But I'm also hearing we rode. I don't know. It's interesting. This change is necessary. It's a necessary part. Purification. You are shedding old layers that can no longer accompany your next journey. Grief may arise. Let the cleansing waters flow through you freely. So I would say to you, if you are one with resistance to something about this change, allow that to do what it needs to do for you, and let yourself feel whatever grief comes. And even when we have good things happen for us, grief can still accompany that, right? Like, I don't know. Maybe you get that dream job, but that also, you're super stoked about it. But at the same time, you also recognize you've got to leave the friends and the camaraderie of whatever you were once a part of in your current job, right? Like, you realize like it's a bittersweet kind of thing, but you also know that the waters that cleanse, right? The things that are purifying you, you have to trust that process, and that there's something about that here. And manager of seeds, new ideas and subtle whispers are arriving. Be curious, record every inspiration. They are messengers from your deepest soul remembering. Dive deep, Leo, is what I just heard from Spirit. Dive deep on this, because you're going to need to. It's emotional. It's an emotional... Leo, I don't see you all as super emotional signs, right? You got a lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of drive to do a lot of things. Not always super emotional. Leave that to the water signs, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But there is some emotional connectivity to this. And furthermore to the point is growth and the grief from that growth. You don't experience grief if you don't have a connection or a meaning to something. So I stand by that. I stand on that here with that message from Spirit. So transcendence as well. So, all right, let's get out these 3 cards and see. I think we're going to go with these ones. Feeling pulled to these, we're going to these. These are like, I don't want to call them my spooky cards, but I don't know. I tend to use them in the fall months more, so that's what we'll go with. All right, Spirit. For Leo, October 2025, past, present, future energies. We'll clarify those. The High Priestess of Air, clarity and success. Like, more clarity coming in. That Queen of Swords, that's how I read her. King and Queen of Swords. Very feminine energy, though, that I get with her, even though it's swords, but it's very articulate. It's very precise. It's very logical, fair-minded, just. Rules with the knowledge and the wisdom from before, right? I keep hearing there's just something different about this. There's something different, right? The Queen of Swords examines, right? She examines the facts. She takes in the knowledge and the information. She can be outspoken, idealistic maybe in some ways, but resourceful in her knowledge as well. So him, them, they, doesn't matter, she. There's something very, you can't miss the logic in what's transpiring, okay? Growth, that's about self-care in the past, right? You could be in this past, timing is what it is for you. That's about self-care, self-growth, some hermit type energy, Virgo energy. Present energy for Leo, please, Spirit. Lust, the devil, the warrior, oh boy. Leo, we'll see. We're going to I'm not going to speak too much on that until I get clarifiers. We're going to leave it there. And then moving forward, we got honesty, fire energy, and fulfillment. I was going to say fulfillment. I thought that was a fulfillment card, and look, it's on the bottom of the deck. Understanding, listening. Some of you are waiting on a message. I think that you know something is coming, or you know that you're going to be the implementing factor or change in something that is coming. And it's like, I don't want to say making peace with it, but it's like gathering the facts around something. You're looking at this emotional thing from a logical standpoint. It's like head and heart. The mind is always like the last thing to get on board. Our heart speaks out more than we realize, and we just are always waiting for our head to kind of get in alignment with that, because we have this conditioned viewpoint of what the world does to us. And it's like, well, I've seen this happen, so if this can happen, I know that can happen too, and it's likely to happen. again, Spirit, you need to be likely to change. Leaning likely to change is what it keeps going back to that. Likely to change, it's subject to change. Everything in life is subject to change, right? Everything. Life is always changing. That is the one consistent thing in this world, is that everything changes. It's the only consistency we truly always have, is change. It's always bound to happen. So, all right, let's dive into this past energy for you, Leo. Let's see what's going on with this grove. Kitties might be significant to you. It's a kitty cat laying on that throne. You know, I feel like you've held yourself up in a space of integrity, Leo. I will say that. Very, very lion-like of you, very strength card-like of you in the tarot. You know, it's maybe you put yourself on a pedestal, you know. This card, I just did Scorpio's weekend read, and synchronization came out a couple of times and then finally ended up on the table. Synchronization, resonance, music, emotion. Again, this is about emotional balance. And look at this. Underlying that is adjust. Adjustments, you've got to be adaptable. You've got to be willing to accommodate. You've got to be willing to compensate. You've got to be willing to find balance. Libra season, as we will spend the majority of October in Libra season, is all about what is just, right, fair, and balanced for everybody involved. Synchronization, emotions, and we're going to grab the tarot to clarify this. But which ones? It's always the question. Which cards are we going with? All right, what is this this grove synchronization about? Leo, I feel like you're finally in an alignment with yourself. Is that a wand? No, I said about the Justice card, and there it is. Libra season. You're leaning into, and there's the World card, this cycle of self-discovery, Leo. Whether you know it or not, it's happened. It's done. It has reached its, like, where you've had to find the balance in two things. It is balancing out. Like, you have balanced it down to, like, the very tiniest gram that could be balanced out on the scales on both sides. It's like, you know, if you ever tried to weigh something evenly, it's a little bit of this, add to that kind of thing, right? Like, you got to take away, add, so we have even, just the complete evenness. I don't know how to explain that. But there's also a sort of truth that sits with the Justice. That's like, I get it. And, you know, I think it's interesting is in 3 of these cards, granted they're not all the same, but the guy with the violin, he's got the bow, right? So a stick, a string, whatever you want to call it, but it's still a mechanism in his hand that is straight, right? Justice, same thing. He's got the sword of truth, clarity in his hand. He gets it. The Knight of Wands underline shit. Like, there you go. No more self-deceiving concepts here, Leo, whatever that means for you. The Knight of Wands, he's got that bow, that stick, that wand in his hand. What sits behind that? That Ace of Swords, that truth, that honesty, that integrity. I do feel like in the past here, Leo, there could have been some, I'm looking at the 5 of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles, right? The hands that stick out from the heavens in the tarot are God, the divine source, whatever you believe in, right? I do think that in the past there have been people, 5 of Swords, that have made you feel like I said about the Hermit, look at that. Like you really have entered a period of self-discovery. I'm done. Ace of Wands, like 3 aces, Leo, and like the only thing we're missing is the Ace of Cups, and that's the emotion of the grove. That's the emotion of synchronization. This 5 of Swords to me is like people of the past, is what I was saying, and pardon the train is going through, that may have kind of taken those things from you, or maybe made you feel like, when we talk about the Ace of Pentacles, that's tangible, that's earth energy, that's here as we are in reality, right? The practical. History could and does repeat itself, right? But not every situation is the same, and that's been a repeating low level theme that's run through these readings in the past week or so, is not everything is going to be the exact same as it once was. So when I'm looking at this 5 of Swords, from the Ace of Pentacles to then the Ace of Swords, is like there is a truth that divides these swords. There's a truth from this 5 of Swords that you're able to take away maybe it was a truth that you lived under for a long time, that this, again, this is just the way that it's always going to be. But the truth of the matter is that's not always the case, right? And then this card of honesty that comes out in the future supports that, right? Honesty is just full transparency, the facts as they are. Somebody coming clean with some information too, but I don't feel like it's a bad information. I think it's necessary to something here. So this self-care, this growth, give it time. For some of you, you may have tried to rush a process around something as well. That it's just like, the Knight of Wands wants to rush in and do immediately. Maybe you were dealing with somebody like that too. They want to like come in, problem solve, do all the things, do it now, right now. Sometimes you just got to kind of put a pause on that a little bit, right? Give it time, everything in divine timing, let things flow. The need to flow, that purification card again says, let the cleansing waters flow through you freely. It's like you had to gather, I'm going to call this personal wisdom and knowledge to be able to move into the next thing. And I don't think, it's like you were observing or needing to observe based upon past experiences. And I think that's okay. And I really do feel like you have come out of that, or you are coming out of that, if not now in the month of October itself, as we're a few days out yet. But everything is flowing exactly as it needs to. And your job is to not get in your own way. Don't get in your own way, whatever this is for you. So this Lust card, I don't know, I had to giggle at it. 10 of Pentacles, the 5 of Swords. This is kind of like, I'm hearing, is this a threat to my security? Lust, what is this? This could be letting that fire energy overrule you, right? Obsessing. 2 of Swords. It's a pause. Again, another pause here, Leo. It's like stop and go kind of energy. I can't remember what was in your last reading. High Priestess. Ace of Swords again. 2 of Cups. Page of Wands. 3 of Pentacles. Spirit says pull more. What is this list about? 4 of Swords. Again, it's the Sun, vitality, the Strength card, Leo. There you are twice showing up here. Remembering. I'm hearing remembering. There's a unique, there's like I don't know if I want to call it obsessive. What do I want to call this, Leo? I feel like I need more information on this. I do, because I didn't get one of these. Okay, there's the you may feel like something's missing. Cool down. I said pause, right? The 2 of Swords, a pause. Look at the card that just comes out. Pause. Somebody may be telling you to pump the brakes on something here. And this may be in regards to a connection that you're in. It's like, Leo, if you're not the one, here's the kicker. If you're not the one going, wait a minute, like pause, hold on, wait a second, what about this, what about that? Because it's like, back to the thought process, this Lust card, it's like the devil in the tarot, basically. Obsessions, lusty, could be, right? Toxic attachments, patterns, codependency, all of that stuff. But the 2 of Swords to the 4 of Swords to the Sun is like, I feel like you personally, right? There you are, the Strength in the Sun. You personally have gained some clarity. Like, this feels good. This feels right. I'm calm. I'm composed. I'm brave. I'm courageous. I'm living life on life's terms. Like, this feels good. As I look at that 2 of Swords, it almost feels like a whisper in your ear. Whether this is somebody questioning you about something, going, well, did you think about this? Have you thought about that? Like, someone's got 900 questions. And I feel like you might be trying to slow that down. It's almost like when we think about mental chatter. Have you ever been, I don't know, my personal experience, right, on a day-to-day note is like, the dog is carrying on, the cats are running around, the TV's blaring, the kid's talking, she's got the iPad on, like all the things are happening at the same time, and I'm like, I can't hear myself think. Oh my God, would everybody just shut up long enough so I can contemplate a thought or finish a thought? That's how this feels to me. Is like everybody's like, and you're just like, silence, right? Just everybody just stop. So this could even be a little bit of like banter back and forth, or some, not even banter, but just some blah, 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 blah. What about this? What about that? And everybody's kind of talking at the same time over time. Just everybody just stop. Let's get down to the heart of the matter. Let me think about this if I'm leading this situation group or whatever it might be, or whatever your part in it is, Leo. Can everybody just stop for a second? Let's look at the facts. Right? So there may be some sort of fact finding. I don't think it's so much that as much as it is you just needing maybe some solace to really go within. I think you already have gone within, but it's almost like when you have all that chatter around you, even when you've made up your mind about something, Spirit, again, then the word of changeable, change, Leo, change. Your life, one way or another, your life is changing forever. I got the chills again, confirmation from Spirit. They give it to me every time. The change is happening, like it or not. Leo, I don't think that it's you as much as, I mean, it could be, you might be connected to another Leo. I've got Leo here twice and I've got Libra. It could be a Libra as well. But it's, you already have your mind made up somehow. Somebody else could be trying to oppose those thoughts or get you to change your mind around something. Or Spirit saying, or needing you to see it through, you needing, them needing you to see it on their terms or in their way. Okay, gosh, what a mouthful. All right, what else for Leo in this present energy? Guard. You need to protect your own thoughts, your own peace, your own sanctity. I do. I feel like I said, it's like somebody, whether it's a group or a person or whatever, is going off on their own to do something, and they need to do whatever this is, Leo, and I think that's you. You're needing to go off and do this on your own for yourself, to let go of an old restrictive, I don't want to say, well, maybe a restrictive viewpoint, something that you return to that doesn't feel like it has the same depth to you or the importance that it once did. Not that it's still not important, again, that grieving, but it just doesn't hold the weight that it once did. It doesn't satisfy what you need in here on that emotional level. You're ready for more emotional growth, right? The empty room, like, you ever walk into your house and it's empty and you're like, boy, like, especially if you have kids, dogs, cats, husbands, whatever it might be, wives, and everything's quiet, and it's like, boy, this is lonely. Like, this isn't quite, I don't know what to do with myself now that it's this quiet, kind of thing. But I think you've been trying to actually protect that quietness or that stillness within you. Some people would see this as glass half empty. Other people would see it as glass half full. It's all about perspective. You may need to get out into nature, and maybe, you know, you're an early riser with the sun just coming up through the trees, right? That's when you find the most time to collect your thoughts and decide what the brightest part of your day is going to look like, right? The sun card. What makes you feel good about life? What is it that you're I don't want to say, I don't feel like you're longing for. It's Spirit's like, it's almost like you tripped over whatever this thing was. You just kind of like, I don't know, maybe you went to a paint and sip one day and you're like, boy, I didn't know I liked to paint like this. This is great. I want to do this more often. You know, maybe you went bowling. I don't know, whatever it is. But whatever, you know, maybe it's a person, maybe it's a place, maybe it's a thing, maybe it's a passion, maybe it's a hobby. It could be anything. But when you tripped over it, like, it's like, I didn't see this thing there, or I didn't see this coming for me the way that it is, but yet here it is, right? So one more card on the present for Leo. Depravity. I said to you, it's like somebody has, you're cooling down the things, right? You're putting the pause on the things. You're guarding and protecting what you're learning and what you're coming to know. Depravity, tyrant, spy, misfortune, seduction. I really do, your intuition is there. Like, your intuition is knowing. But it could, I said to you, it's like you couldn't hear yourself think. Too much going on in the background. Look at that noisy sound. Information overload, social media, things being out of control. It's too much at once, needing the time. That depravity coming out with that tells me this is someone who's trying to get you to not trust your intuition. Someone who's, again, telling you this is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. See it through my eyes. Let me seduce you. And it doesn't mean to be sexual, right? It's a seduction of the thought. It's, somebody else is gaining from you seeing it through their viewpoint. They're holding on to some level of control in something. Again, tyranny is someone who's trying to control a mechanism of some type of dynamic with you. And I do think you see through that. I don't think you're stupid. I don't think, it's like, no, I get it. I see it. I'm aware of this. My intuition is speaking to me. And it's like, do you listen to the chatter outside of you, or do you listen to the inner voice? You always listen to the inner voice. And Spirit is saying that inner voice is telling you it's going to be fine. Whatever you're choosing to do here, whatever your emotions are calling you to do it. Because the only way other people can really get to you is through emotional manipulation, or by feeding your head full of crappy thoughts to make you doubt what you already know, what your heart feels. Pay attention to that. Very, very important that you pay attention to that. But I do feel like there's already an understanding as to how this works. Like, I think that this is not, I don't think this is really anything new, but because there's that new job or that new person or that new place or that new thing, someone's got an opinion on it. They're always welcome to have their opinion, right? Like, go ahead, do that thing. Again, you got a water sign here. Mercury retrograde. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. This depravity. Depravity with cool down. Water sign, so water, the elements, right? Getting into your emotions. You could be dealing with a Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces here when it comes to the decision in which you are making. This depravity coming out with, you got the sun. It's funny. I said it's like a back and forth, the lust card, down to the sun, back to depravity, back to open your heart. And then you needing to just kind of move out and on beyond someone else's opinion, literally someone else. And the card of intuition. Leo, you're extremely intuitive. You really, truly are. And it's like every time you're like, I feel good about this, something comes in. Maybe this is just an internal shadow side of yourself as well, FYI. Where it's like, do you want to open up? Sit down. Do I want to open up to? Sit down. It's like getting that job. Am I really capable of doing that? I really always wanted to be, an astronaut, going from being working at the gas station. I'm going to be an astronaut. You finally get the job of the astronaut. You're like, well, I've been here so long. I don't know if I could do that. Well, why can't you? Go have the experience, right? That's how we learn, is through our experiences more than anything. Anybody could tell us. If you got someone going, well, you've never left Earth before. What are you going to do when you hit the moon? You've never been there. How are you going to know what to do? How did any of us ever learn to do anything? We had to try. We had to try, and we had to have the experience. So there's just, again, this back and forth, the Two of Swords in the head going, just follow your heart, right? The water signs, they're all emotion. They follow their heart. They trust their heart. They trust their inner knowing. Water signs extremely intuitive as well. So I do whatever this is in this present experience for you. Put it to bed. Put it to rest, because you're ready to move into the next phase here. Honesty, Spirit, I got the chills. Getting real honest with yourself about what your happiness looks like, what your wish fulfillment, the fulfillment card. Again, starting something new in your life requires letting go of something else. And, if this would be a job thing, I think this, again, is more on an emotional side because of the way the cards are coming out and what Spirit's giving me. But I could tell you back in 23, I had a brick and mortar store, did all the things, loved it. I loved the camaraderie. I loved the groups that we did. I loved having the holistic business right there. I loved playing with my herbs. I loved doing all of those things with everybody. But I knew that it was just time. Did I want to let it go? No. I couldn't imagine my life not being me going to that store and doing what I had just done for how many years. But I also knew that what I wanted, it didn't work that way anymore. And it was a bittersweet decision to have to make, to shut that down. And then I ended up on YouTube, which I would never change for anything. I love it here. I love doing this. So, but it was that transition period. It too was a grieving process because I put my blood, sweat, and tears into that business, only for me to be the one that goes, I gotta close the doors. We gotta do this differently. So again, when you move out of one thing into another, regardless if it's your choice or someone else's choice or a tower moment or whatever, it does pull at the heartstrings. And then you've got, when I walked into my business and I said to my girls that were helping me there, I'm like, I'm shutting the place down. And they're like, what do you mean? What are you doing? Oh my God, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? Then you've got that outside perspective, right? Those people, blah, 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 going, but now what? And did I go home at night that day and think about, am I making the right decision? Absolutely. I sat with that, and I sat heavy with that for a while. It drove me freaking insane. For 2 weeks, I drove myself batshit crazy going, if I do this, I'm done. Like, I'm done with my lease. I'm done with all the things. I'm out of here. We've got to move on. Can't go back and redo this. Not like this. Listening to the opinions of others is necessary to gain additional perspective. But always do what I could say for myself, what was in my heart is I didn't know what I was doing at that point, but I was trusting it. I was in divine alignment with spirit that whatever was meant for me was going to come. And by January of 24, everything changed and voila, YouTube took off. Even if you don't see how, right? That high priestess energy of you can't quite see what the long-term result is, but with Pluto and Aquarius, Leo, that's where we are right now. We're not going to be able to see things as we once did. We may not know the end result, and that really is spirit, God, whatever you put your faith into, teaching you about faith, what pure divine faith is, because faith is believing in something even if you don't see the tangible results. It is to walk by faith and not by sight. Because you can't see where you're going. You don't know where you're headed. You don't know how it's going to play out. But you have to trust the process. And that's what this is about. You are learning to trust the deepest parts of your process in ways that I don't think you've ever been tested before, to be honest with you. Because you're very caught in this. Things are very unlikely to change, but then they do. And you're being asked to trust that it's going to work out to your benefit and everybody else's benefit in the long run, okay? So that present energy is it looms like a cloud right now, Leo. It's very there for you right now. So trust it. Trust what you feel in your heart and in your knowing. All right, let's see. Where'd my deck go? Right there. Okay. All right, future tense. Honesty. What is this honesty about? 8. What goes around comes around, right? Something is circling back for a restart here, Leo. What is this honesty about for Leo in the month of October? Letting go, surrender, faith, right? Letting go, surrendering, opening up, giving up on the old ways of doing, releasing, collection. This is going to be about the experience, unique, antique. You're sampling life, you're understanding life. You're not allowing yourself to be boxed in to specific things. When we surrender to the process, amazing, amazing things can come from that. Living testament to that. I will always, there's so many ways that Spirit has worked through me. I will forever tell anybody who wants to know. Anything else about this honesty in the month of October for Leo Spirit? Anything else about this honesty in the month of October? One more shuffle. Immortality and rest. You're due. Look, here's another card. I could talk. Card of pause, journey, new beginnings. Immortality comes out sideways. I feel like more than anything, Leo, with that, you're just kind of questioning yourself, going, this may, let's see. So let's say you're retired, right? Or you're planning on retiring. This is a commitment to the rest of your life. Like, I'm going to quit working and quit doing this thing that I've done for 30 years. So for the rest of my life, what do I want to do? It's a long-term commitment. Infinity goes on forever and always, right? until your dying day kind of thing. And I feel like you're on the precipice of surrendering to forever in something. The idea of this is going to change. Whatever this change is forever. It's not a fleeting moment. It's not just for today. This is the rest of my life we're talking about here. And that rest is like, pause, sip, have a tea, have a coffee, have whatever makes you happy. And start to look out on the horizons. Very Three of Wands. Like looking out to the horizons of what the rest of this lifetime looks like for you. What does this new journey represent to you? Because I'm going to tell you, I got the chills. Paradise. Look what sits behind that. Paradise. Maybe to some of you that don't like the beach, that's not paradise. But the overall scheme, the idea of the card is paradise. The waters, there's some ripples in them, right? Some small waves. There will always be little challenges. But it's nothing, Spirit is saying, nothing that your soul can't conquer. Thank you. It's warm, it's pretty, it's comfortable, it's cozy. You can take a deep breath and breathe through whatever this is. Leo, whatever you're stepping into in whatever avenue of life, it could be multiple ones. I don't think you understand how Spirit's using the term luxurious, okay? Luxurious. This is going to be, whatever your life of luxury looks like. Very interesting. All right, Leo, Spirit, clarify honesty for me for Leo in the month of October. I like this. I like this for you. The Hierophant, that's commitment. I told you, that's in the Hierophant is structures, commitments, values, traditions, morals, ethics, all the things. What you commit yourself to. This is also a spiritual up-leveling, right? It's like a spiritual mastery as well. Spiritual teaching. Some of you could be becoming more spiritual as well and learning more and maybe going into like shamanism or religion or teaching spirituality in some regard as well. Or maybe you're the student right now as well. You could be the student in this. But this Hierophant is commitment. It is structures. And I said infinity, if I could talk. That's forever, right? The commitments that we make, the vows that we make. And that 5 is change. Taurus energy right there, the Hierophant. I'm hearing 3 crossing. 3 crossing. Leo, you could be leading something. You could be leading something when it comes to 3 people. World card. Completion. You are completing a cycle right now. It's a big cycle. Tied to 10 of Cups. Emotions, happy family, happy home, emotional fulfillment, judgment. It is your turn to make a call. Some of you, they're showing me an age range of 21 to 51. So if you're in that age range, this reading may hit a little closer to home for you in some way. It doesn't have to be, but just the way they're showing this, like the X's coming in the Roman numeral terms. But also, when you look at numerology, 10, 20 are... I always get the master numbers and the power numbers backwards. They're power numbers. 30 as well. I don't know what the representation of 40 and 50 is, to be honest with you. I would encourage you to look that up. But 10 to 50 are important power numbers, is what I'm going to say to you. This is life and legacy, Leo. This could also, Spirit's bringing up the fact, too, that there could have been a long, and while there's no pentacles here, the opposite of the emotions is the tangible, right? Like, those are the resources. When we look at the signs in the zodiac, water is equivalent, or the equal and opposite to earth, and you being that to fire. The opposite and equal of water is earth, which again is tangible. There could have been a large part and emphasis on the tangible things for to this point in your life, right? So maybe that's got to do with about 50 years old. If you're older than 50, maybe after that you start to realize like what's emotionally fulfilling is more important than the tangible anymore, right? It's like, where do I give my time, energy, and effort? There's a change in attitude around that. It's like I finally get to kind of sit back and take it easy, right? Like I don't have to work so hard anymore either. So that too is a structure. That is something you've committed yourself to. And this commitment to something could be a belief, right? So the judgment, it's a consequence essentially in some ways, but it's also you making a judgment call when your higher, self, Archangel Michael, which is tied to the heart chakra, is working with you to work on what's in here, to resurrect certain parts of yourself that are ready to be nurtured and loved and cared for. Nine of Wands, Eight of Swords. It's been, I don't want to say, I'll call it for what it's been rough. It's been rough to get to the point to make this call. Again, because I feel like you're just trying to find calm in your balance to get to where you're going. So anything else? Because you've got, Leo, you've got five major arcanas on the table out of 8 cards. I started this off saying destined, fated. When God, the divine, get involved, there are things you will always have a free will choice over. But there are also plans set in place as you make those decisions as to what is fated and destined for you. Make sense? All right, this fulfillment card, let's clarify that. And anything, see, Three of Swords. It's like a bittersweet thing. It's a bittersweet thing. Anything else, Spirit? The Five of Swords. There's two, Leo. Fulfillment, what's behind that again? Understanding. I said, it's almost like 8 of Cups. Oh, thank God. I was like a little worried about you there for a second. I'm like, please don't do this to yourself. I didn't think you were going to, but I was like, oh, no. 3 of Swords, 5 of Swords to the 8 of Cups. What I was going to say to you, though, is like, when you look at these 2 cards, 3 of Swords, you see what he's carrying when he leaves that scene. He's got 3 swords in his hand. If he took nothing else from that experience of the 5 of Swords, he took the heartbreak with him. And that's been, or the disappointments, the mental stuff, right? Going back to the mind, not the heart. The emotions are healing, now to get the mind in check, or what other people have watched you experience. He took the 3 of Swords from that 5 of Swords with him. And that was what he carried. Pain, heartbreak, hurt, betrayal, disappointment, feeling stabbed in the back, betrayed, used, abused, blah, 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 all the things. Thank God the 8 of Cups came out. Because you're walking away from all of those things in order to move into a new beginning. To move into this change. Like it is, I don't think you realize that when you open up your heart space, how much it changed your world. In Spirit saying, don't regret it. You're not going to have to regret it. Health. Pay attention to your health, your heart, your weight, cholesterol. And I'm going to tell you something too. If you've carried around issues that were both mental and emotional, right? The swords, the 3 of Swords is very much both, even though it's an air card. Those things manifest into health problems. Living example here. For those of you that don't know, like medically, I've been termed with MS. And when I understood why, wow. Talk about a shock to the nervous system. Wow. So do take care of yourself. Okay, do take care of yourself. Because when you do pack around baggages and burdens for years, that shit manifests in some really unhealthy ways. Even if you don't see it, it might take years for it to pop up, but it does. So it's time to let part of this is also letting that go and making the necessary changes to any health related matters as well. What else for Leo, Spirit, as we close this out? Someone is still trying to figure themselves out, sexuality. That honeymoon card keeps coming up for you. That's the third time now that it's popped up on the bottom of the deck. To me, someone feeling blah, 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 feeling themselves. Was it Beyonce or Nicki? Feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. I probably got that wrong too. I don't know. Anyhow, this to me is more so not figuring out who you are in the sexual sense, right? Or identity in that way. But the identity of what you've needed, what makes you feel good, again, what inspires you, what lights you up. And what comes after that, Spirit? Cycles. This is where we started and this is where we're going to end, Leo. Cycles, fate, karma, something ending so that something else can begin. You couldn't change the change if you wanted to right now. Don't fight it. And luck is on your side. You are moving into something with, again, someone else, a new job, a new place to live, a new way of viewing things, a belief system. But it's whatever this is outside of you. What has called it in is what's been inside of you. And it's beautiful. It really, really is, because it's leading you to a completely new cycle in your life. I don't know what else to say to you. Three of Wands, the Page of Pentacles. That's new opportunity, new growth, expansion. The wonder of the world, traveling, seeing things abroad, seeing things in the horizon. Again, that rest card, I'm going to show these to you and then we're going to end this. He's looking off to the horizon. If you're sitting on that picnic bench or whatever, having that coffee and you're looking out to the horizon, Leo, the sky's the limit. Anything is possible. I love this for you. I think it's beautiful. You're learning a lot. You're gaining clarity. Listen to your intuition and trust your heart. Leave the monkey mind behind. All right, I'm sending you all so much love. I hope you're well. I hope this was helpful to you. I know it's a little bit much longer than I usually do for the other signs outside of Scorpio, so congratulations. You've surpassed some sort of spiritual test here with me, I guess. All right, personal reads are open and available. That info is found in the description box below, as well as the About section of the page, and channel memberships are open as well. Sending you all so much love. Take care in the month of October, and I will see you soon. Bye.